Welcome, everyone. Here we go. We made it to episode number 2. That's pretty impressive, I guess. We'll see if we're able to make it to episode 3, and then we'll start bragging about that. But here we go with episode 2 of the podcast. I'm joined here with Utah locals and some guy that thinks he can just go and show up a couple of weeks and then move off to Texas. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
Good. Tired.
I feel that.
So, no, it's been a really good time, guys. We've been able to get some Unleashed underway. We've been able to open some packs. I mean, heck, Kryptonian right below me has been even opening up packs to this very moment and probably will still be opening on stream. We don't blame him for that whatsoever. Any good pulls for you today?
Today, right as we were prepping for this episode, I got my first Baron. So I got a Baron Nasher now, so that's great.
Right
I pulled another Elder Dragon earlier, so I'm getting some good hits right now. Had to wait for my product to come in, but happy to get opening now finally.
Yeah, and then how have things been over in Texas so far? I mean, like, you've been able to get product relatively easily, or how's it been going for you?
So it's still kind of tough down here. Game stores are having more product available, but it's still limited to like a box or two for people. And normally it's for, those who have been coming to their store, which makes sense. But yeah, it's been tough to find, I wanted to get a case. And so thankfully, actually through, being out in Utah for the month of December, I found a connection that could help me get that. And so that's what I was waiting for that case to show up. But yeah, it's been a little bit better. But still not where everybody would like it to be. So hopefully, set for a few months away, it'll be a little bit better for us down here, away from Utah. But
yeah, no, that's really awesome to hear, though, and hopefully locals are going well, too. But also, Peter, looks like you're actually starting to get your YouTube channel up and running. How's that going so far? Trying to, at least.
Trying. We're learning. I got, the mic. I'm trying a new webcam. We'll see if it craps out halfway through. Hopefully not. But we're getting there. I'm super excited, man, honestly. There's a lot of content out there already, but I don't know. It's just fun, honestly. I think just kind of honing in on all this stuff. I mean, heck, me and you already talk meta stuff and all the events happening, and this podcast is pretty much just us just chatting, anyways, right? So it kind of just felt right,
Yeah, definitely. And for those of people who are out there right now, you're going through the ringer, figuring this all out for the first time. You haven't necessarily had a whole ton of filming experience or content creation. So what advice would you give to people who are maybe trying to get into this for the first time, like what you're doing?
Honestly, just do it, right? I have a crappy phone, but I mean, most of the phones nowadays, are high quality camera. You can do what you need to do. Just make something, honestly. And that's what I'm doing, right? I don't know if it's going to be good. Doubt it, right? But as long as the content is there, it just gets better over time, right? You can't improve on something if you don't start it. So
yeah, and that's going to be the biggest thing, guys. There's always going to be that learning curve, and you can't get better if you don't do it. So just keep at it. It gets better over time, and luckily, most of the time the internet is actually pretty forgiving about that, which is nice. So, and then of course, if you're able to just do win a regional or something, then you can be like Alan and just have a webcam on your head and commentate, and people are happy with that. But that actually is a great experience because he dives into his thought processes and things like that. So there's a lot of really good learning opportunities there too. But with that too, Doyster, you are building some decks. What have been some of your favorite decks that you've been trying to build in set 3?
Well, I know it's brain dead. It's slop, but Aurora has been great. I've been loving that deck. Another deck that I found floating around, and I've been doing some testing on it. Miracle's back, and it's with Pike. That deck is so fun. I don't know how good it is, but it is super fun.
That deck is silly.
So when you say Miracle, what kind of stuff? If you don't want to divulge, that's one thing. But if you do, what are kind of the stuff that you're going about with that?
So you do the detonate package. So I have the troves, the detonates, the seals, the playset of Ezreals and stuff. But what I think is really strong is being able to use Pike ability, and of using Fizz and Ezreals, sending them up to battlefields and protecting them to be able to reuse them. Because then you get, because Fizz plus Starcrossed is so abusable, but you just
Mhm.
get that on a legend ability, which I think is great. Not only that, you get to abuse Vi as well, and you can just send her up and bring her back. Like it's the deck. The deck is so fun. I love it.
That's awesome. And then, of course, what are probably some of your favorable matchups and maybe some of your tougher matchups?
Depending on the curve, you can be pretty aggressive. So your Aurora matchup's not too bad. Because instead of playing acceptable losses, because I think the Sivir Aurora is maybe a little better than the MF, and they have the gold, and acceptable does nothing.
Yeah.
No.
He's not
Peter's a
big-
little biased because he spent too much money on bullet time.
If I keep saying it enough, I'll manifest it, right?
But I've been doing in almost all my purple decks. What I've been doing is playing Downwell
Mhm.
and invert timelines. And what you do is you just let them play, and then you just get to say, "Cool, you've expended all your resources onto your board. I'm just gonna Downwell and invert it all away." And so you just get rid of their Elder Dragons, their Splitters, their Last Rites if it's out, and their Aurora all
So
in a
mean.
2-card combo.
No,
So
that's awesome, and I'm
That's
excited
so
to see.
rude.
Well, and this is the cool part too. Now that we're getting into set 3, we don't have just like the 200, the 400 cards that we're locked into. You know, we get so many more cards that we get to play with, and I think that's just going to make the meta a lot more wide. But speaking of limited in our cards, a lot of us went in to our pre-Rift events and things like that. We're not going to spend too much time on this in particular, but I mean, you know, we hadn't talked about our pre-Rift experiences. So, Peter, we're going to start with you. How have you been feeling about your pre-Rift experience, and maybe what was your highlight or favorite deck that you were able to build?
Yeah, honestly, I lucked out in the beginning. My first pre-rift, I did manage to pull Vi, which honestly I thought Vi wasn't going to be as good as it was. It kind of gave me an appreciation, especially at Yellow Vi.
Mhm.
So great, so great. But I managed to luck out. I ended up getting like a Rift Herald and the Otacon, and it was just cake from
Nice.
there, honestly. No, I really enjoyed it. Honestly, the events were super great. I really liked, really just kind of how at one of my events there was people who like were from Magic
Mhm.
and they've never played Riftbound, but they were familiar with like kind of the really quick, build a deck out of what you got going on, and they're able to kind of hold their own, right? I mean, it's kind of like a skill that translates well over other TCGs, and they ended up having a blast. It was really cool. I think honestly, just my favorite thing about Riftbound in general is just meeting people, new people who are vets, everything, right? Everyone just seems to really have a great time, and the pre-rift's kind of just a different scene for that to still happen. So no, I had a blast.
No, that's awesome. And Doyster, you had some interesting builds at your nights too. He went to the Nexus night or the pre-rift with us, and it was really interesting too. For those of you who don't know, they had 2 pre-rifts of 32 player, and if you got into the top 8, then you were invited to a special closed pre-rift event where first, second, and third won a box. And so that's pretty
Dang.
big.
It's
And-
pretty cool.
And that was the thing too, because there was even some points that we were like, do we intentionally draw to try to get ahead of those people so we can get into the top 8, or things like that, which is a really interesting aspect to try to hold with a pre-riff. But Doyster, what was your experience like?
I will say I did not like this sealed experience as much as I like Spirit Forge. The one thing that felt a little on the Urky side for me is this pre-rift experience felt pretty one-sided once somebody got the tempo from what I found. Like once you grabbed hold of the tempo, there was a lot of games that I played that was like, this is now just unwinnable because you can't retake. That was the one thing that irked me, but I did like a lot of the little color combo things you could do, because in my first pre-rift, I ended up playing I'm trying to remember. I think I had a Lilia with no champ, and then I had 3 downstage dramatics. And so what I was able to do is play the blue Lilia, play the downstage dramatics after accelerating her, accelerate her out, leave a sprite token, and ready the other sprite token.
Oh.
And so you're able to double conk, keep the Lilia up. And then in 2 of my pre-riffs, I ended up drafting LeBlancs with Otacons, and that combo in sealed is absurd.
Yeah,
There's just no answer.
That's
gross.
insane.
Yeah.
and that's a lot how mine kind of were going to. The hard part was for me, I did 3 events, and 2 of mine I drew Ivern, and that sucked because it felt like I was trying to get into the game but I never necessarily had the answers to keep up. I had to win the die roll, hold a battlefield, keep holding it, and then see if I could win that way. And then so that was a little bit hard, and that's one thing that I wish hopefully Riot can do maybe a little bit better in the future, is just making sure that the power curve of each deck is a little bit more even in that case. Because I mean, we saw that with like maybe Rek'Sai and Spirit Forge, Ivern was another one, and stuff like that. And it's like, well, if you just get a bad legend and those 15 cards, that is so much that you are just being kind of left behind with and at a disadvantage.
It's interesting though, because I looked over to the side of me a couple times when there's an Ivern, and there was like 50 birds on the battlefield. It was insane. Like if they could get on there with that, what is it, the Ultra Soft Poro or whatever it is, they were just able constantly to like generate more and more birds. And yeah, with the brush, they're able to get that extra power. But yeah, I like the sealed. I like the pre-rift events. I actually probably like this one more, even though I didn't hit as well as I did last time. I went 2-1 each event, so like I felt like I did decent. One time I think I could have won, but I told the guy, I was like, look, I know you have Baron. If you have Baron in your hand, you're gonna get points 5 and 6, or sorry, 6 and 7 from the Conqueror, and you play Baron to win, and that's it. And he did exactly that. It's a top deck Baron. So
Oh gosh.
yeah, I called it. It happened. It was fine. But I did get Elder Dragon in my last pre-rift, and I kind of did the same thing to that guy where like I dropped it the second to last turn, and he didn't expect it, and just like wiped up the board. So, but yeah, I like it because of the color combinations and just the like, oh, I got a great hit, and you just pop it in and take over the board. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
No, oh yeah, go for it.
Sorry. I think the one thing that I want to mention as far as PRF goes, like, kind of going off what Deutscher mentioned earlier, is that like tempo was super huge in this one. So like, for example, my first one I was doing, I was like 2-0 heading in, like I felt strong, and my last matchup was a Jin, and like I was like, okay, this should be easy. It's a Jin, right? Not a lot of power going on. Well, the the dude ended up pulling 3 sprites calls and a sprite fountain, like right off the bat, and then like 2 of the blue removals from Jin, and like just that alone just was like, okay, I can't do much. Like whatever tempo I had going on, not a thing. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cards that really just swing. Dudes come in ready. Things go out really fast. That really kind of like, unless you had a decent understanding of the tempo play of moving back and forth through the battlefields, and made it pretty challenging. So I can imagine the perspective of a brand new player into some of this may not be as favorable as like a Spirit Forged may have been, but yeah, no, tempo was really huge, and there's a lot of cards that really just made or broke the deck for sure.
Well, and that was the hardest part too, because there was a couple of times where I was really happy. I made a Diana deck, and I'm going against my opponent, and he plays out a Baron, and it's GG. There's just nothing I can do at that point. You can't target it with anything. If you're running red, you might be able to get that with adding Assault 4 and repeating it, but I wasn't at that point. And so it was just like, all right, well, cool, you just got the game then, at that point. There's nothing I can do. And sometimes that's a little bit tough. That's the risk, though, of doing a sealed event, though, and it's like, you're rolling the odds at that point and just seeing maybe who rolled better at that point. So, but I mean, all in all, though, I love pre-rift events more than anything. I think it's just one of the most fun formats that we have in the game. I think it's one of the best designed ideas of just giving you that help with the packs and stuff, and the legend with the 15 cards that really helps out a lot. And I'm excited to see what else is here to come in the future too. I think this is a event that's great to get new people in the game, and we'll see what else happens. But yeah. So, with that being said, though, guys, we are going into the meta so far. So, I mean, we're a couple of days into the set so far, and it's been actually a pretty good experience. I mean, all of us, for the most part, have been able to get our hands on product, which has been really awesome. We've been able to get some good pools. I haven't pulled a single Elder Dragon in 5 boxes. That's okay though. I'm not bitter about it. Um, but other than that, like product has actually been relatively easy to get. And Kryptonian, just wanted to go over like how your experiences have been so far, going even like from Spirit Forge into Unleashed.
Yeah, I again the pre-riffs have been, I guess, my major exposure to Unleash since or up around the time of release. I haven't been to a Nexus night yet. I'm glad I got my product now so I can prepare for it. But I've played some games online, right? And one of the things I thought was interesting, I don't think it's going to be like a top tier deck, but I was playing last night with a few people. We did a free for all, and this guy did a take on an Aurora deck. Just he said it was a meme deck, and the reason why it was meme, he did Sivir and he put in the Bewitching Spirit, and so he had three Bewitching Spirits, three Mind Splitters. He had Morbid Returns. Like he just killed everyone's hand like as fast as possible. And it was just honestly, I just laughed. I was like, yeah, I mean, I can't do anything. But I honestly am very excited. I think there's going to be a lot of strong decks. There's 3 or 4 that I'm trying to build right now. I just can't decide on where I want to go. But yeah, I'm ready to get into some games to get to my Nexus night and start playing against these decks.
Nice. So what deck are you trying to build first?
So I got like a box at Origins not too long ago, and I pulled an Overnumber Leona, and so I'm tempted to go Leona because she did get some support. I don't think it's going to be top tier, but I think that's where I'm going to go first. If not that, then I'm thinking Diana. So we'll see how the polls go tonight. That'll kind of decide my direction.
Nice, nice. And Peter, I mean, we've seen what you've been trying to build. You took it to the local Nexus night and wreaked havoc. How's it been going for you so far?
Yeah, so I think last on the pod I was on the Aurora hype train, right? Just like, yeah, Aurora's gonna be crazy, whatever. And then I didn't not show very well. I ended up pulling this dude. I can't see the signature on there, but it is gorgeous. And I was like, okay, this is a sign, right? I got to go back to LeBlanc. That was the first thing I was on. And yeah, honestly, it's it's gross. It's really gross. Originally, I was trying to do the hook package, and I'm like, okay, hey, it's the weak link obviously is a hook, right? And then I'm like, cool, Karthus package. And I'm like, okay, well, once again, you kind of fall in that same scenario, right? Where like they manage to get rid of the Karthus, and it's kind of rough. And so I ended up going more of like a Spellslinger route with honestly MVP Blue Kaisa. Like it is super super strong. Actually, so I'm in the middle of trying to actually gather like a deck tech. I'm gonna throw up on my channel here, and
nice.
Eventually, don't hold me to it. Don't hold your breath. But it's solid, honestly. Like LeBlanc's super great. I think the only so I feel like I was one of the only dudes who didn't like read the errata section with FAQs.
Oh no.
And so I went into Nexus Night, right, against this Pike player, and man, Pike looks gross. Like it's it's pretty rough. But I didn't know the reflexive trigger for playing reflections. And to kind of just clarify on that, so like I know Riot was trying to steer away from reflexive triggers, and now here we are again. This is the podcast for that. But it was when you play the reflexive trigger, the token, right? It comes in as a 0 might, boom. Once that comes into play, right? So you already expelled, you discarded a card, you tapped your LeBlanc. Here's the reflection, or the reflection, or my gosh, reflection token, right? Yeah, the token's on there.
Yeah.
Its ability is choose a dude and then makes a copy of it, right? So on that trigger, you could play reactions on, which in the best case scenario is Gust. And since your token has yet to copy anything, it's a 0 might, and they Gust it to hand, which essentially just removes it. So it's like a 1 energy removal spell off of what potentially could have been a Otacon or Elder Dragon or whatever. Just there you go. So yeah, so I didn't know that setup, and I was like, okay, cool. I was getting there, and man, that shook me pretty hard. But honestly, going into it, like it's pretty good. I think LeBlanc is definitely going to be. I mean, like, ooh, hot take, right? But LeBlanc's going to be pretty strong. I would not be surprised if it could take all of Sydney. It's pretty gross.
Well, some bold claims there, Pete.
It's crazy, man. Honestly, like, bro, you get
Yeah.
Kaisa in there, you sit there and hit it with like you hit something with I don't know, Cold a Week, right? You get rid of one of your crappy dudes. You move Kaisa in, conquer, play like a stupefy from there because you conquered, right? Draw your
Mhm.
card, do a thing, make you a reflection of it, gank over because you have ganking, and then you Cold a Week for the token you just made. Stupid.
Man.
All for discarding a card.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't pay. Yeah, it's dumb.
No, that's
So yeah,
crazy.
silly.
So, and then, yeah, we have Doyster that's a bit more on the north side in Utah here. So, how was that going for you, too? Were you able to get a lot of your product going? And what's it like even up in the northern Utah area?
So sadly, the scene in northern Utah is almost non-existent.
Dang
There's
it.
people that are around and they play, but most locals average 6 people.
Go.
So when I'm a competitive player at heart, I need a lot of people so I can play a lot of rounds, so I can make the most of my night when I go to a Nexus night. So I just travel down to where all you guys are at because the local scene is amazing down there, and I was able to get my product down there. I also found some of the structure decks locally to me as well. I think that is one upside to not having a lot of players at locals is there's product sitting on shelves. So if I do just need to find like one Vice structure deck or a Vex structure deck or something, I was able to do it. So
No,
I wish it was more popping over here though.
Yeah, that's always kind of the hard part too. But the nice part is, it looks like we are starting to have a little bit of like trickling in of new product with Origins kind of getting that wave 3 out. I've seen Proving Grounds now is down in Spanish Fork for a lot of us, so there's a chance to get that going and things like that. And so that's interesting too, that we might have a chance to be able to get some Origins product. And I know at least if you're more rural, at least that there is a higher chance that you could get your hand on Origins and potentially even Proving Grounds. So we'll see. But I mean, Kaisa right now has fallen down to about $55 ever since we've started to see Origins hit the market. So I'm not mad.
I'm happy about Origins prices going down because I need 6 more cards for that master set and I'm done. So I'm happy
Nice.
about it.
Nice.
So, and I mean, because have we all started the game since Origins? Pretty much.
Yeah, that was day 2. I think November 1st. That's when I jumped in.
Oh, that's awesome. And then Doyster, when did you join Riftbound?
It was on release day.
Wow.
It was actually funny. I went to a Yu-Gi-Oh regionals, ended up winning that regionals, left and went to every card shop I could find on my way home. I was like, "Do you have Riftbound? Do you have Riftbound? Do you have Riftbound?" And bought everything that I could. Found a Proving Grounds for $60. Like I got extremely lucky.
Oh yeah.
Getting into this game.
Dang.
So I've been a day oneer, and I'll ride and die until the game is dying, and I hope it never does.
I
Yeah.
feel you.
No, that's awesome, and completely agree. That's how Peter and I actually met.
Yeah.
Was because I posted on our local Discord saying if anyone wants to learn, I have 6 professional decks, or at least what was professional out there, and we can play test, and you guys can learn the game. And like ever since then, we've actually become really good friends, and had a pretty good group of about 6 to 8 people that would show up and play. So that was something really special. And now here we are going into set number 3, and it's like, wait, did we blink and just miss it? Like, what's going on? Time's flying at this point.
For real.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I gotta say, like, I've just had a really good time with how everything's been going. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong, Spirit Forge 1.0 felt a little crazy at times. But once we got to the bans and stuff like that, it's felt really good. And now that we're going into Unleashed, it's feeling like even with Aurora, yes, that is a plague, let's be real, but it's really not as horrible, at least hopefully at the local scene, as what we initially thought.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, and I think even in the last episode, I was like, hey, Aurora should have been banned. May have been a bit of a hot take for sure. I think I was really just hyped on that, like for a while, like it was running rampant. But I think if anything, it kind of, at least the way I see it, is it kind of works like Victor did in Spirit Forged, right, where it presents like a problem to you right off the bat, like what's going to happen. There's not too much detour. Eventually they will get Aurora. Eventually they'll get Elder Dragon, maybe a Baron, maybe a Mind Splitter. But but you know the path, right?
Mhm.
And it presents that problem to you, and either your deck has a solution for it, or there's a path around it, or you can't solve the problem and you just lose.
Mhm.
So I feel because it's a little more linear, um, there's creative ways to kind of go about solving that problem, right? It's not like invincible. It might be a difficult problem, but it's not like an unsolvable puzzle, right? So yeah, I don't know. I think it's definitely like I don't know. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. It's definitely easier to pilot, um, and I think for that reason alone, how powerful it is for like a lot less of rubbing brain cells together. We're going to see quite a bit of it for a while, but yeah, it's definitely not unbeatable.
Yeah, and I want to say that it also feels like this meta is incredibly open. When we're taking a look at the online scene, when we're looking at China, even the tournaments now that are taking place in America, it feels like that we have so many decks that are extremely viable and could take, a top spotter if it performs well. Like you could win your skirmishes with relative ease. Like, I've been running Azir a little bit and having some really good luck with that. I've been running Master Yi and stuff, and having some really fun luck. And then I'm seeing other people just run completely outlandish things, but they seem to be very competitive too. And that just feels awesome. And it's sometimes rare for card games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
the meta's huge. So, like, it's so nice right now. It's so many decks. Everything's so awesome. And everything's viable, and things are fresh. It's great.
Yeah,
Well, like,
no, it's a
we're
good
just
time at
getting
the beginning of the set for sure.
We're just getting a sneak peek of what it's going to be like lining up with China, though, because China wasn't able to break the set, so now it's our turn. But I'm really excited to be able to break the sets alongside them. That's one thing I'm really looking forward to.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing too, because there's a lot of ways that we kind of get the cheat sheet a little bit, where it's like, okay, what are they doing here? And they get like usually like 4 regionals a set, kind of thing, and it's like, all right, even if it is, by raffle on getting into those, you still get a good idea of where these metas can go, and so it's like, all right, we're all synced up, we're good to go, let's see where it's at. And those first couple of weeks of discovery are sometimes one of the most fun moments that you can have in trading card games.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. I'm not like a super strong deck builder, but it's really fun to just theory craft, and just come out. It could completely flop, or you might find something that's fun and could at least hang at your locals. But yeah, no, it's definitely a fun time.
Yeah, I think what I like the most, like, especially with all of the stuff we have available to us, I think, like, set one kind of had its own, let's say problem, but like, the Kaisa and like Yi, it was a healthy meta. It wasn't as bad as it was in like, 1.0 of like Spirit Forge. But I think with all of the stuff we have now supporting a plethora of brand new legends, there's so many silly things. Like I was watching a video, some guy was running Lilia with like a playset of brutalizers. Holy moly! Like just silly random crap like that, right? And it's like kind of sounds like a silly little tech, but like, dude, these guys were getting like 10 might super easy, just blowing through all the stuff. Like, it's so simple to like do these fun little things now that you have a lot of cards that support different varying ways to play the game, and legends that also support that. So yeah, no, it's super cool. I'm having a blast so far.
Well, and that's one thing that I think makes this game relatively special too, is that you do have the legends that give you an advantage that is unique to the color combination, and that can be viable. And it's interesting too, because normally we'll have times where like an aggro deck seems to like take control of the meta and everyone has to play aggro just to keep up with the game. And then at the other side, it's like, well, then you just have like the OTK decks, the 1-turn kill decks that are just able to destroy things and go crazy that way. But it's like, no. Like, even though we have stuff like Lilia and Ornn, that you're still able to run, stuff like that is more mid-rangey and still be able to stand a decent chance in Riftbound. And I think that's something very unique here.
Yep.
Yeah, agree.
So I think we'll have to
Yeah.
wait and see on how it actually develops when more sets come out, and hopefully we don't get that one deck again like what we did with Draven, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the wide meta is definitely great, but as Peter was saying, like I love because that's one thing as well. Like there are multiple builds of Diana. There's multiple builds of LeBlanc. There's multiple builds of MF and stuff. Like everything now has multiple ways to play it, So it's no longer this, you know what Kaisa's doing and you know what she's on. You know what Annie's doing, you know what she's on. It's, I'm sitting across from a LeBlanc. There's a potential that she's doing these things. And so now more skill comes in to being able to understand these are the play patterns of said cards with each other. And being able to kind of like pick those patterns up, I think is what's really going to separate the good players from the not so good players, is being able to identify those things on the fly rather than just, oh, I know what Kaisa does. I just need to prep against Kaisa and I'm good against Kaisa. Now it's, oh, is Kaisa playing more aggro units, or she's playing more spell stuff, or is Ornn playing gear heavy Ornn and just going super wide, or is he gonna beat me down with sprites? Like, I think that's one thing that we're gonna see. That's gonna be a skill that I think a lot of people are gonna start developing, and it's gonna be really cool to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that too. And just to put you on the spot a little bit, what, in your opinion, do you think makes it to where we are able to have such diversity even in deck combinations, where you do have 2 or 3 different LeBlancs, or whatever else, 2 or 3 different Kai'Sa style of decks? What makes that possible?
I think it's more so the card pool is so wide now, and I think the power level of, because Spirit Forged and Origins, like right out the gate, felt really strong compared to other TCGs. But now that we've got set 3, and I feel like it's kind of balanced itself out at this point, because there's a lot of really strong cards in Unleashed, but there's a lot of really strong cards in Origins as well. And I think that's what's allowing for these different playstyles, is the fact that the power levels are pretty close to equal. And so it's like, oh, I'm going to do this hook style gameplay, and my cards are good enough to support that. But I also can go and lean on the Karthus, like with LeBlanc, for example. There's the hook build and there's the Karthus build, and both of them are super viable. Or like, as I said with the Ornn, there's the more mid-rangey sprite build, or there's the just go tall late game gear build. Another one that we've been seeing is Fiora. Fiora has like 4 different builds now, I think. She has Aurora, she has mid-range, and she has hook. I just think the power level now, with how many cards we have, is what's allowing for that.
Yeah. No, I love that answer too. Going back to Fiora, just as a quick side note, one of my favorite styles of the Fiora deck was where they actually side decked the hook. So game 1, perfectly fine in normal deck, and then you just side in the hook, and then you just go crazy. And it's like, man, that's just a cool idea. And then there's also been some really interesting deck techs that we've been seeing coming out, where one is like Rift Herald Fiora, and then you kill the Rift Herald and you summon an Elder Dragon that way. And that kind of stuff can get really devastating when you get an Elder Dragon out like that. And then not only that, I've also loved the Aurelia, where you're running 2 or 3 Barons. Because when you have that third battlefield come in, even if you are able to take care of Baron, Aurelia is able to take care of all 3 battlefields with relative ease. And that, I mean, my opponent was catching up to me, and I'm like, wait, 1 second. Like, let me not lose this game for a second here, and whatnot. And I'm loving this new deck tech and things like that. And Kryptonian, I'm going to ask you, what have been some of your favorite set 3 decks that you've been able to either play or go against in this case?
Yeah. So I am a Fiora lover, so I'm glad that you mentioned the Elder Dragon and Rift Herald. I tried that out the other day. It seemed pretty fun. So I'm excited that there's multiple builds there for that. I guess I'll say I like the Aurora build. I haven't gotten up against it enough to really hate it. I don't think I'd play it, partly because there's so much hate on it, and because I don't have Auroras. But that's a different story. But no, I've been watching a lot of the different tournaments or like different streams here and there to try to get ideas. And the final 4 from like this last weekend had a number of really solid decks. And I've been looking at Ezreal for a while, and just seeing like Ezreal kind of take it to the end. I was like, man, okay, yeah, it's still around. Alonzi Q obviously put it on the map, and then it's kind of gone up and down. Still had some top 8s, but yeah, I think there's some strength there. So I'm excited. I might try out something with Ezreal this set.
Nice.
I think Alan is going to take Ezreal to another win at Sydney, because I tested with Heedless and everything like that, holy crap, that deck is disgusting. Because on your opponent's turn, you just say, cool, I'm going to Heedless. I'm going to play a Fizz. Fizz is going to play Arcane Shift. I'm going to now Arcane Shift. I'm going to play another spell. And you're playing like a whole turn on your opponent's turn. Like, it's insane.
Well, and then even with a lot of that, there are a couple of weird combos that are starting to come out and about too. With the same thing with Heedless, that you're able to play on your opponent's turn, destroy a unit, and then potentially play out the Thunder Song kind of thing. And that's a couple of worries because red-purple is already dangerous as it is. And some people are worried about, oh, well, if you just go in and when something is able to be activated or reacted to, then I can play this and just stop your turn in its tracks. And there's some battlefields that trigger at the start of upkeeps, and you can just be like, oh, by the way, here's this.
Yeah. One thing I've been loving though with the Heedless Resurrection as well is in Annie, you already play the Rengar, but what you can do if you absolutely just need more might to break in, purple Annie, pick up Heedless, kill the purple Annie, and you can play a Rengar from your trash. And so you get that assault from that Rengar on the battlefield when you go in. Because you're doing all this at reaction speed, which I think is an interaction that I think people are not going to realize in the beginning. Because I can just be like, cool, let's drop it, let's go in, let's kill her, and now I have a Rengar from nowhere.
Yeah.
And the only card in hand you knew that was Heedless. Like, I think Heedless is such a strong card, and I think we have yet to see what that card truly is capable of.
Yeah. So
I'm excited. Maybe we'll see a lot of that at Sydney. I haven't
so.
seen it at all, so yeah, I'm interested to see what you're talking about.
Well, and that's going to be the biggest thing too. Is this seems like very much unexplained or unexplored, not unexplained, unexplored territory where we're already having people that are starting to fly in and get ready for Sydney and get things going in that way. And it's like, wait, this meta has just come out, and here we are having a major tournament of near 2,000 competitors, and it's like that's going to be interesting because even just not necessarily being ready for that meta compared to someone who is can be an advantage in and of itself.
Yeah, I was shocked to see, I wasn't paying close enough attention, but that Sydney was this weekend. I realized that and I was like, yeah, it's been out essentially less than a week whenever you get to Sydney, and they're going to be competing at the highest level we have so far, right? And these people obviously have been preparing for a while with these decks, I'm sure. I'm excited for this weekend.
Yeah. One thing I will say about this event, though, if you are seeing the deck lists that are coming out, I think this is going to help solidify the meta a ton.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the decks are still going to be far from refined. So net decking may not be the way to go. Just straight up, because I think a lot of these lists we will see will still be unrefined, even going into this event.
Mm-hmm. No,
I agree.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And I think this is also going to be somewhat telling of the health of the meta. Maybe not exactly what you were saying with like how it is kind of up in the air because it is so fresh, but this is going to say, hey, is Aurora really a problem? Is it going to be like the Draven effect where it was 40-50% of the decks in day 2 were, Draven in this case? Are we going to be seeing that same thing in Aurora, or are we going to see a much more healthy meta where it's like, okay, Aurora is maybe 18 to 20%, but that's not anywhere near to where we were necessarily at.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot, honestly. Like, I don't think it's going to be like, I don't know. I feel like once again, right, kind of going off of what Tony was mentioning, was like it's not a lot of play tests that went on moving forward into the game, especially Sydney, since it only came out like about almost exactly a week, right, when it came out. Playing some of those like harder to pilot decks will be, I think, kind of just on the back burner while things are a little more streamlined, like specifically Aurora, right, where you kind of just put it in cruise control and let it kind of play itself out. I think we'll see quite a bit of them. I don't know. I think we'll see maybe only like a few in like top 16, honestly. Oh, my light. Oh, darkness.
I think we're going to see a lot of comfort picking this event, though. I think we're going to see a lot more Irelia and Draven and Annie and stuff than we think we're gonna. Like, yes, there's gonna be a lot of people on new decks because you just get that surprise factor. But I think there's gonna be a lot of comfort pick. As Crypto said, like I think there's a lot of people that realize, oh crap, I'm going to Sydney and this set just came out. What do I do?
Yeah. Well, and I think also going back to Aurora a little bit, I feel like that Aurora is in a strong spot now and might get weaker down the line because especially as people become more accustomed to going against it, you know what to expect. When I went against it in my Nexus night, I was still going against a very competitive player. But, knowing what was expected here and how to play around it, it's like, okay, cool. This is how I'm going to start reacting and things like that. And I even won a game because I had a Lonely Poro out with a Trinity Force and I kept having responses to like Elder Dragons and stuff like that and able to barely hold. But, it's that kind of knowledge. And I think we're going to experience maybe the same thing where for Sydney, Aurora might be doing a little bit better. But then when we start getting into like Vancouver or Hartford and stuff like that, it might take that step back as people become more and more prepared for what this meta has.
Yeah, you hear that, people? Sell your Auroras after this event because they're going down.
Market, yeah.
So with that being said,
let Crypto buy them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
yes, let the prices drop.
with that being said, just to have some fun here, there's nothing about this, but I want to hear your guys' predictions on what legend could potentially win the Sydney Regionals. So we're going to start with Kryptonian right below, putting you on the spot here, the biggest veteran of this game. Let's be real. No,
man.
What deck do you think could take it?
So I'm going to talk through some thoughts and we'll see where I end up. So again, going back to the tournament this last weekend, right? So there was, I think it was Yi, there was Vex, there was Ezreal. I can't remember the last one, but I saw, even like a crazy Dragon Volley deck along the way too. So there's just so many things out there. But I think coming into the set, a lot of people realized once that purple Vex was revealed, that the Vex legend and just Vex in general was going to be really strong. I was encouraged to see Ezreal take that last game, but I don't know. I might have to go to Vex. I've played against that green purple combo a number of times, and it's nasty. Purple is just insane in and of itself, right? But having those counter spells too, it just feels like you can't do anything sometimes. So just being put on the spot, I will say Vex as my vote for taking it.
All right. No, and I like that choice too. But we haven't seen a lot of Vex being represented in the tournaments. We did at the very beginning, but even in China, we haven't seen a lot of Vex, and I think that's a very underutilized deck, at least at the professional scene right now. So we'll see. Peter, you're next. Thoughts, feelings,
all right.
emotions.
So, emotions. Right off the bat, honestly, I think Annie could take it again.
Whoa.
Honestly.
Again, man.
Again. Once again, you guys talk about Heedless. I'm right there with you. Also, super gross being able to just hey, play Annie, pull a Starcross, play Starcross, pull Annie back to hand, and then just start doing some silly crap, and it's just there. It's just permanently just available whenever you need it. It's disgusting. And then
that is a better fizz.
Bro, it's so dumb, and it's just sitting there. It's like in your back pocket when you're ready to need it. Like it's gross. So I honestly think Annie could take it again. I feel like LeBlanc has a good chance. Biased, of course, right? But it's a strong deck. I really feel that it could definitely take it. I don't think it's going to be the Karthus or the Hook variant. I think we're going to see something different, and that will be what the consistency needed to make it just pull through. But those are my picks. Definitely Annie or LeBlanc.
Awesome. All right, Doyster. Thoughts, feelings?
Well, we've seen Alan on the Ezreal deck. I want to say Ezreal, but from what I've been hearing going around in the circles, he's on Diana. I don't know how true that is, but I think he may be saying, cool, I got 3 Ezreal metal cards. Time to get all the Diana metal cards. But just to go along with Peter, I think Annie is super strong. I think I'm just calling it now. If Prismat is at that event, he's most likely on Annie, and he will take that deck to the top if he's on it. I think Annie's strong. I think Ezreal's super strong. I think a dark horse is Draven. I think Draven still is out there. I think it's going to be a purple red legend. I don't know. Probably Annie or Draven, but I would love to see Pike take it. That'd be sick.
That would be great.
That would be. And you can only imagine the best of metal card for Pike. That's going to look so cool. Let's be real.
Ooh.
Out of all of them, it's like Pike is going to be looking real nice. So
Is it better than this, though? I don't know if it's better than
Oh
that.
man.
Can I real quick just derail? Oh man, I'm so glad the overnumbers went back to like just different art.
Mhm.
Like they're so cool. I love
They have some really good ones. This set,
most
for sure.
of them.
Yeah. Well, we can touch on that real quick at the end, too, because there's a couple of points I want to talk about with that, too. But for me in particular, I mean, you guys know I've been playing Master Yi since the set was done being announced. Peter still has PTSD going against my Yi deck. That's just how it
Rangars,
is.
man. Rangars. I close my eyes and they're there.
Yep, his therapist is definitely earning a paycheck right there. But
What's a Rengar? Don't worry about it.
Rengar can't hurt you. He's not real.
Rengar with 5 mana open.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing is I really think that Master Yi, the old Master Yi from Proving Grounds, has some of the best deck matchups in this meta. Where even against, if you're going against Aurora, you're adequately equipped to go against that matchup. If you're going against, Orns and things like that, you're able to have these kinds of matchups, and then you're having ambush. And one of the craziest combos of the game is when your opponent attacks in to an open battlefield, you go in with Rengar. And then it's like, oh, by the way, he's at 8 now because Master Yi adds +2 because he's defending alone. And it's like, wait, what? Yeah. And even if you know that that's coming, it's still going to be, depending on your game state, something difficult to try to actually respond to. And I got to say, I really think that mid-range Yi has a great chance to be able to take it. So,
yeah.
We'll see. But no, that's going to be exciting. And then, to go back to the points, I got to say, guys, I am very much impressed with the Unleashed alt art cards, and especially like the Poros and how they have like specialized texture where they have like the snowflakes on them, or if you have Ivern, he has a specific texture, or the Overnumbered Yi, that's one of the ones I pulled, and he has the calm leaves as the texture behind him on the card. It looks so good in person, and I love that they are adding that little detail on these kinds of cards.
Yeah, no, it's so cool. Like I think it's kind of indicative of like just kind of like the spirit of Riot just trying their hardest, right? I know we give them crap constantly as players about rules. Even just today with Dave dropping some information on us, you know what, man?
Wait,
don't get me started.
But like it's all for what they believe is the better, the best interest of the players, right? And I think nothing shows that more than them, double timing for allocation to make it, better by set 3, right? I mean, we're seeing that now. And like you mentioned, Silent with all those little details and the art, like, I don't know, it's really cool. It feels fun to collect. I love just how involved they are with, the community, even having, people from the community do these, artwork and stuff like that for the cards and shouting them out too. Like, it's great, man. Like, it's cool. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I've ever really been part of a bigger scene that I felt really just ingrained in, and I'm not even doing anything, but I'm a part of it though. I feel it, and it's great. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. So, Kryptonian, what's been some things that you've been really enjoying or impressed about, like the cards in general or things like that?
Yeah, no, I like Peter said earlier, I like how they shifted back away from just like the two-tone color in the last one. All those look cool as well. I think the over numbers this set are awesome, and even the alt arts. I have two things that I'm chasing. If I can get the over number Diana, then I'm definitely building a Diana deck. I'm gonna stay on that for a long time. But also, I think that Cosmic Yi looks amazing. And so even like that's the XP, so not like the mid range that you're a fan of. But if I pull that, that's gonna be my chosen champion. And I'm gonna play Master Yi, and we're gonna just try to make XP work. But yeah, the art on the cards, they've really done a good job, and with the foiling and stuff, it's just yeah, it's amazing.
Did you know that I pulled both the overnumbered Yi and the alt art forecast Yi?
This guy.
Oh,
So
come
You know,
on,
just-
come on.
Not going to be sliding into your DMs about
Yeah.
that later or anything, but
Oh my gosh. So like we have like a Discord where it's like our playtest group, and like every time Silent touches a pack, it's like, oh hey, check out what I got, and it's like, oh here's my 8th over number, or here's my whatever, and it's like, whatever, man, get out of here.
Yeah.
Like the girlfriend opening packs. The girlfriend look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're
Hey,
gonna call it the silent look.
wife luck
Yep,
is real,
yep.
guys. Not gonna lie. When my
True,
wife
true.
pulled the signed Victor, it's real. And what your wife too, Peter, pulled the signed
Oh
LeBlanc.
man, signed
Mhm.
LeBlanc, signed Ari. Yeah,
So-
no, I can't complain. It's
Wife
pretty
luck is
nutty.
real. You guys, I
It's
mean,
real. It's real.
Kryptonian, you're not even
I
having
gotta
your
get my
wife opening any of your boxes, and your pulls have been pretty
I need
mid.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta change it. I gotta get her to open a box.
So, and same with Doyster. You're not married yet, and your pools have been pretty mid. Just saying.
But hey, my case was great.
Uh-oh,
2
uh-oh.
over-number Poros and 2 over-number Legends.
All
I'll
right.
take
no,
that.
pretty good.
That
pretty
is
good.
I'll
pretty
take
good.
Dang.
Yeah.
I'm my own wife.
I'm my own wife.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like I'm my own wife.
Oh, gosh.
No.
Oh man.
Anyway, no, that's
Oh,
awesome.
man.
And I think we're at a really good spot here in the game. I gotta say, this is, before we get going, I gotta say, this is probably one of the best times for new players to come into the game too. If you guys have any friends or things like that that are, wanting to test out the game, there's really no better time. There's a bunch of decks that are even now around $100, or we have some collections where you're able to get some stuff relatively easily. We even had someone show up on Saturday who had never played the game before, and the game store owner was just like, dude, by the way, here, just borrow this deck and let me know how it is, kind of thing. And now he's playing Jin. He went and bought all the cards that he needed. He talked to our local Discord to get the commons and uncommons, and he was able to build a Jin deck, and he showed up on Monday to our other locals and was playing. And it's like, man, this game just feels incredibly great right now in Unleashed. It's healthy. We have a good versatility of decks, and I think it's a perfect time for new players to really experience what this game has to offer.
Honestly, and I fully agree. I think with that as well, the Vex pre-constructed deck
Mhm.
is
Oh, yeah.
pretty solid. Like, and it even comes with like purple Vex. So
Mhm.
out the gate, the deck already pays for itself at this moment. I think
Pretty
Vex is, like,
much.
what, $15?
Yeah,
it's
Helps.
crazy.
Somehow.
Well, like, yeah, but it's made really well. I feel like with some of the other decks, it was like, hey, neat, it's baby's first, Riftbound deck, and this one is like, no, here's like,
Babies.
you're good to go. Start killing people, and yeah. So for sure, if you're thinking about it or have a friend who's on the fence about it, grab one of those and be like, hey, sleeve up, baby. It's game time. Like it's solid. It's solid.
Yep. No.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I was just gonna say, Doyster last week had mentioned like buying cards versus buying like the boxes. Like if you're jumping in now, like set 3, and the prices have been coming down, like yeah, it's an opportune time to buy even a solid, strong deck. And yeah, it won't cost you too much. So yeah, we have a few people in my locals that are kind of getting into it now at the end of set 2. So yeah, it's just fun to see that it's still pulling people in, and it's not too big of a barrier of entry.
Well, I would definitely, if you're even considering buying your cards for your deck, and you're thinking it may do well at Sydney, just buy them now. If they do
Yeah.
well at Sydney, they're going up. I think
Mhm.
now is the best time for Unleashed prices. Of course, like towards the end of the set, they're gonna go even lower. But if you are even thinking about it, I would bite the bullet now.
No, I think, yeah, this is going to be really great to be able to see how things continue to develop, where things go. But with that being said, guys, that is going to be it for episode 2 of the Proving Grounds podcast. I mean, we'll see what Unleashed has to hold. We'll see what Sydney has. I'm probably going to be co-streaming that tournament. I'm not going to be getting sleep. It's fine. It's all good. But we'll see what ends up happening there. Guys, this is the stream. And until next time, have a good one.